Hello coaches, welcome to another Modern Soccer Coach Tactical Breakdown. Today we're going to talk about overloads, attacking overloads, how we can create them, where we should create them, and how we can coach them. Before we get into it, massive thank you to everyone that has subscribed so far. We're almost at 20,000. Please give it a like, please give it a subscribe, please check out the Modern Soccer Coach resources, all the ebooks, the free stuff, the webinars, modernsoccercoach.com. Link is below. Here we go, attacking overloads. All right, the first thing we need to look at is what is the benefit of an attacking overload. So basically, an attacking overload is an opportunity to get you a numerical advantage in an area of the field to open up space or create an attacking opportunity in that area or in an advanced area. So it can be very, very beneficial when you're playing against the press, when you're playing against a defensive system, that you need that extra number to unlock and then open up space somewhere else. However, there are two areas that I wanted to address before that I think hold teams back whenever they are using attacking overloads. Now, the first is that possession is required in order to utilize the overload. If you move players into certain areas on the pitch, but you do not move the ball in order to create the time to get those players in that area and take advantage of it, like in this example where you go and you are more direct with your play, it can actually count against you that you move players closer to the ball and you go direct. You're obviously going to open up another area of the pitch that's going to be open. This can cause you problems in transition. Similarly, it's important to know where you're trying to create that overload and if that overload is even needed. For example, here the opponent has dropped off, you move in the 6, you keep the 2 and 3 back, and all of a sudden you've got 5 attackers, maybe even 6 attackers underneath the first line of pressure. It means that you're going to be outnumbered higher up the pitch. So it's really important to understand where you're creating that overload and how you're creating that overload in order to take advantage of the overload and create goal scoring opportunities. You keep going back to that. That's the whole point of it. Create chances higher up the pitch, not just keep the ball, not just move the opponent side to side. Create chances, a little bit of verticality, score goals, attacking football. All right, an easy way to train it is to put 6 or 7 players inside a box and put 2 players against them and just simply keep the ball. That is an overload situation. In theory, 7v3 and you're keeping the ball. But I think in order to create understanding and create decision making and create goal scoring opportunities, you're going to have to progress this into an exercise that gets you the context of ball progression and decision making, all within a tactical framework that can help players understand where the spaces are, how to open up those spaces in a match without the constant instruction of a coach. So here's how I would set up a training session to do that. All right, so I'm going to start with an 8v8 game in 3 zones. The defensive team are restricted to their own zones. The team in possession can move. Why I want that to happen is I want the number 6 to realize when they should drop and create that overload or when they should stay. So in this situation, the front 2 in red are screening the number 6. So one's pressing, one's screening. This can make it quite difficult to break out. So in this situation, you might want the number 6 to drop in, create that numerical overload along with the goalkeeper and the 4 and the 5, and then break out and then create passing lanes into the front players. You can also overload that higher area as well, allow the players to experience those decisions and see those pictures, and then again create goal scoring opportunities at the end of it and score. All right, now I want to progress this into a 9v9 game, but I want to use the wide players because sometimes it's not just the central midfielders or the centre backs who you want to rely on for that overload. You might want to use the 7s and 11s. So again, same conditions where the team in possession can move freely in this zone, and that will maybe incentivize the 7s and 11s to drop in, give them a little bit more freedom with the number 9. So your attacking players can experience and make those decisions when to drop in and where to drop in, and then get that timing right that they can create spaces in front of the defenders, and again at the end of it create a chance on goal and hopefully score. So a common theme to this session design has been decisions and flexibility in making those decisions and allowing players to experience those decisions. And to finish this off, we'll go 11v11. And this is like the ultimate game of freedom and flexibility. You'll mark out 3 zones, and those are zones that as a coach you'll identify that you want someone in that zone at all times. It doesn't have to be a certain position or a certain number, but maybe allow the players to say, okay, you can drop in, and they can communicate with each other. In this situation here, again, the 7 and 11s can move, the 2 and 3s can get higher. When the 7 and 11s pop into the space around the number 9, it gives the number 9 the freedom to drop off, and again creates that central overload that can progress the ball, allow the switch of play, allow a crossing opportunity, and create a shot on goal. Situations like this, there are 100 of different scenarios that teams can create, but again, I think it's important that they experience the decisions and they start to communicate with each other on where those situations can happen. So there we have it, coaches, another full session plan. If you enjoy these full session plans, please check out the 20 attack and training sessions, the ebook. You can go online, you'll get it right away. Ebook, 20 full training sessions where I pick a topic and break them down and show 3 exercises. You've got build up, midfield combination play, and final third attack and play. In this session that we've just shown, again, a big part of it is decision making. We talk about it as a coaching community all the time. How do we improve decision making? And I think, in my opinion, the best way to do it is create a framework and then allow the players to experience those decisions throughout the training session. Now, as a coach, you can then manage the timing of these exercises, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes you play, and then you can have a conversation with the players. I think a danger with creating specific overload situations and prescribing them is always going to be that if those specific situations don't happen, the players can be looking around and saying, all right, well, we won't then create that overload, or what do you want us to do now? And that can then disrupt the flow and the rhythm of a match, that can then disturb the attacking ability of a team. So I think all the time you want in your training sessions are for players to understand what the framework is, and then give them freedom and flexibility to create and make decisions within that framework and communicate with each other, both with their words and with their movement. And I think when you create that, you've got a really fluid, flexible attacking team that understands timings, understands movements, and understands where and when they should create those overloads. So hope you enjoyed that. Before you go, please give it a like and a subscribe below. If you have any topics that you want us to cover in the upcoming weeks, please either drop me an email, Gary@modernsoccercoach.com, or put it in the comments below. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.